Hello, this video is going to be my entry into Otter Arms 1000 subscriber appreciation giveaway. If you haven't seen his channel before, I'll put a link to it in the description below and in the comments. Definitely check it out. He does a lot of shorts. He does a lot of entertaining stuff. He does stuff I haven't seen on any of the other channels I'm subscribed to. Shooting locks, rocket failures, pulling pics out of unusual places comes to mind. So he's got some very entertaining content. If you haven't seen it before, definitely check it out. For this giveaway, he's asked us to sort of show off tools. Tools that we like, tools that we don't like, our favorites, and just sort of comment on the tools we've got. And so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So, first off, these are not lockpicking tools, but I felt like if I'm going to show tools, I should show these. I think these are super handy, even if you're not, whether or not you want to mess with locks or not. This is the iFixit kit. It's really meant for electronics, but I use it for all sorts of stuff. It has a very nice set of different screwdriver heads there. Sorry, I've drawn a blank on the right term for that. But a lot of super useful stuff. This kit has absolutely been worth the money to me. And I buy them for other people sometimes for like Christmas or something because I think they're super handy. This is a very, like as far as calipers go, this is a very cheap set of calipers. These can get extremely expensive. This is a very cheap set. I don't know if I got it on Alibaba or Amazon, but it has absolutely paid itself off. Super handy. You can switch between millimeters, inches, different fractional units, things like that. Super handy for measuring things, whether it's for lock picking or just in general. I really love these for fine measurements that would just be miserable to get any other way. So even if you don't pick locks, I can absolutely plug and support those two tools. This next section is going to be, I don't know, maybe mildly embarrassing for me because it's a lot of tools that I have gotten that I don't necessarily use, if I'm being completely honest. I've always been interested in lockpicking, and as an adult, I now have a job that lets me buy shit I don't need or use. So I have lots of stuff here, some of which is really cool, some of which I don't know. All right, so here we go. We'll just start going through it. These are the toolboxes I've 3D printed. I really like these. I think they do come in handy. It's a little bulky, which is one negative thing I would say about it, but I do use them. I made these because I think they would be cool for holding tools. If I had one spot in the house that was sort of mine, I would probably use that more often, but I move around a lot. These are Covert Instruments pinning tweezers. I use these probably the most often. These are the pinning tweezers, I believe, that came with this Huck Locksport kit. These can also come in handy. Sometimes you don't want that curved tip on the Covert Instruments ones. This is the plug from Covert Instruments that's got the it's got a couple of ball bearings on the bottom side? Yeah. So this actually will get it perfectly, like gets it pretty perfectly lined up with the plug if you're dropping pins in, if it's that same diameter. I used it a couple times. It is really nice, but it's also, I guess I wouldn't say it's my favorite. Like if you're using this plug and you're using that plug all the time, I would say it's a great plug follower. But I kind of like these other ones a little bit more. I'm not entirely, I think just because they're go together as a set. I sort of leave this one off on its own. But it's very nice. All right, so we got some shims and some leftover pins there. I'm not sure where I got those from. These are homemade shims. For the amount of work and the quality that comes out, I was thinking about making a video showing y'all how to do it. I didn't make the video, so I think that sort of describes the quality there. Usable, but maybe not worth the effort considering how much they cost to buy. So these are going to be for pinning Euro profiles. I've never used them. This is me having too much money. I think they'll be real handy one day when I do that, but I've never used them yet. That's the honest truth there. These are for measuring the cuts on keys. I have used both of these. They do come in handy. I like this one more from CLK Supplies because it sometimes comes in handy taking off the C-clips. But I think that there are slightly different ones. They actually measure there. So it's just, I think part of the reason I've got both. I don't think this one over here covers all the ones this one does on the right. But if you had to get one, I'd recommend the CLK Supplies one. All right. So, got some lab plug followers. I do like these. I played around with 3D printed plug followers, and I like how easy they are to print and how quick they are, and they're also like mildly disposable. So I do like that convenience. But the smooth finish on metal tends to go through the locks easier. So I prefer the smooth metal finish. I am also a big fan of the plug followers that are flat and have the little groove for the pins. I think that's super handy. And I do like the way Covert Instruments does it too, to really make sure that they use the V shape so it gets smack in the middle there. Super handy. Both are good. Not a big fan of the hollow ones, and I'm not exactly sure why this is cut this way. I don't know. This is for the kick sets, for unscrewing the back of the kick locks. It's cool if you're doing that. I use it every once in a while because the tool locks are all the kick style that use this. But outside of that, I don't really use it very much. But it works well. You can 3D print these. The 3D printed ones they just don't seem to last. But they do work a few times. So if you're not sure if you need one, try a 3D printed one maybe. I don't know. Oh, look at this stuff. Got some randomness in there. So this is the Locksmith Tools Huck Lockpick. I would have known now from the videos people are doing. I really do like this kit. I like this follower here. I think it's a neat little kit. This is the one where the had the pointed tweezers in it. I've played around with this C-clip remover as well. I've used these plug followers as well. They work well. I've used that tool. It's maybe not the best, but I mean, I like it for most of the random, like, okay, I need to sort of pry a C-clip off a little bit. I hate C-clips. I would love to know what's your favorite tool for getting off C-clips? Is there a perfect tool? Because I'm not a big fan of them. But a lot of this, once again, I haven't really used very much. I think I may have played around with these once or twice, but I don't typically use them. I've never used these things down here. I've never used... Maybe I used that once for some things. No, I didn't use this. Okay, so I lied. Technically, I used this guy once, but not for its intended purpose. It was for making a gimmick lock out of a Brinks laminated padlock. All right, so there's my opinion on that stuff. Kind of neat. Definitely a cool kit for getting this stuff, though, for the Euro Profile locks, because I don't think there's a cheaper source or a better source for getting that stuff that I'm aware of. I think this might be the most economic kit for it. Oh, and if you're interested in this case right here, this is all on GitHub. Or not GitHub, I'm sorry, Printables. So you can print it yourself. Here's one of the earlier versions I did. It's still got some stuff in there. Here's some other pinning trays. I believe this is the Lockpicking Lawyer style pinning tray. It's neat, it's nice and compact, and it can slide in spots real easy, so that's cool about it. I don't use it very much. This is the one I got used to using more often. This is one of the ones I designed for an Altoids 10. I really like my little mini design for a portable kit. So I'm biased there. There is another version out there. I meant to follow up with the guy. I met him at ShmooCon, and you can actually press the Altoids tin to make a pinning tray as well. He's making some 3D printed blocks that you can squeeze between like a vise, and I meant to follow up with him, and I didn't. But he's got some cool stuff there. Okay. What actual picks do I have? So this is the picks that I really use regularly here. You can see I got some Jimmy Longs. These are the 23,000 short flat hooks. You can see I've noticed people talk about bending them. You can see I have bent them some. I still like them. I think they're nice. I like the handles. I'm a fan of them. The picks in here are from Tools Necessary 9. It's my understanding that these are made by the same manufacturing group as Covert Instruments. I don't know if that's true, but that was my understanding. So if you like Covert Instruments picks or you like Tools picks, there's going to be a lot of similarities there because I believe they're being manufactured by the same people, but I don't know if that's true 100%. I'm a big fan of this little set. I don't use this pick pretty much ever. It's a very rare. The rest of them I use. And we'll alternate between turning tools. I like a variety of turning tools. I like the ones that come with the Necessary 9 at the 30, 40, and 50 thousandths with the dual-sided ends. But I like to have some others, just some randomness mixed in there. This is one I've really gravitated towards using less often, this sort of flex style one with the twist. But I still keep it in there. I just would say that this is probably becoming the least used turning tool in my set there. Alright. What other stuff have we got here? Loctite thread locker. I've used that for random stuff, but probably less so for locks, and I've used that for other things. What do we got here? We got some Abyss driver. I don't think I've ever used that as it's intended. We got stuff here for picking disc detainer locks. I think this is from Hazardous Manufacturing, if I remember correctly. Never used it. I want to learn how to pick these, and you can see it's just sitting here. I think these are some random ones from China. These are all different style disc detainer picks that I just have had no success with so far. I would love to learn to pick a disc detainer lock. And you can see I have all this random stuff that can help you do that, but never done one. What else? I should keep this stuff out as we go. Maybe I'll clean this bag out. Tool business cards. Yeah, check out Tool. Files. I do use files regularly. They are handy. I know that a lot of people talk about what is the best file and all that stuff. I buy cheap files. These are cheap files. And for me, they work. But I also don't do like a lot of like impressioning or something where I need to know, oh, this many strokes is this, depth in the key. So I'm not doing any any work that requires that repeatability of precision. So it doesn't matter if I buy cheap files. I got some multi-pick turning tools here. These are for the Tapa Keyway. I don't use these. I know that these are considered very nice by a lot of people. A lot of people really love them. For me, I just don't like the way they feel. I don't like that Tapa Keyway just going straight up as much. So they sit in the bag and don't really get a lot of use. Alright, let's see here. We got a bunch of junk. Well, this isn't junk actually, this is cool stuff. But I have a lot of stuff. Alright, so key cutter, Lishi key cutter. Haven't used this. This was a gift from Smiley John for doing some 3D printed stuff for him. Printing some of these guys. These are from John Locks for using that cutter right there. But he didn't finish making them all. He started for a bunch of different key profiles, but didn't get to finish. I reached out to him, but I haven't, I didn't know him before, but I reached out to him and I haven't gotten a hold of him. I don't know if he's still around or what he's doing. But I would like to use those more often because there's a master lock I'd like to cut and use it with. Ooh, that's a lock. There's a set of keys. It's got some locks in it at the moment that I was playing with at the last tool meeting. But yeah, this is just like a general set of tryout keys, jiggler keys, master keys, all sorts of random keys that I've collected. If you had to get one set, those little worded tryout keys, I think, and jiggler keys are probably the most useful out of this whole thing. The most unuseful, I've got a lot of keys in here I've never used. Some tryout keys here and here. These were supposedly bump keys for dimple locks that I've tried and never gotten to work. So I'm not saying they don't work, but I've never gotten them to. Okay. My original bump hammer, made from a wooden I-beam from back in high school. My collection of unused keys. These are some of the oldest tools I would have. This would be for TSA locks I made back in high school. Yeah. Unused keys aren't typically handy for me. Here's some bump keys or 999 keys. These are also old, but I've added some. You might notice these look newer. This is because I've tried to organize stuff. I don't really bump locks very often, so they're not super handy. Every once in a while now, they've come in handy for checking a key profile to see which key would fit in it. This is a lock for another video. This is one of my oldest toolkit bags, which is cool. It's from Southern Ordnance. And inside we got one of my first turning tools made out of a knife. And we got these keys that I think were from trying to make tensioning or turning tools for a Schlage Everest. I haven't picked a Schlage Everest in a while. I heard that maybe you have some sort of Schlage Everest challenge lock. I would be interested in giving it a shot if we want to send it my way. What we got here. So these are the tools that I made for the Mendi Pagoda style locks. I got about 7 of them there. I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of interest in picking those, so I haven't been like giving them to anybody. I kind of figured, well, if somebody wants them, if they're interested in picking those locks, I've got sets I can give them. Or, yeah. So this is my big bag. This is a bag from Peterson that is expensive. Just the bag, not the tools in it. I would not necessarily recommend the bag. If you've got a lot of stuff like here, like me, I've got these turning tools that just sort of fall out everywhere. That's one thing I don't love about it. It does keep everything in one spot though, so I do continue to use it. You can see we've got a bunch of tool stickers here. I got some more Jimmy Longs that I haven't bent up yet. They're sort of like in their safe spot in here, so when I break the other ones, I can come back and use those. This is sort of a random mix of turning tools. These are the Ergo turning tools from Covert Instruments, and these are my preferred style for top of keyway tensioning. Most of these, I believe, are from Southern Ordnances. They have a nice set of picks that aren't like, they don't break the bank, which is what I like about Southern Ordnances. Very reasonably priced, even if they don't last forever, and you can use them for other purposes. These are just random turning tools that, I don't know, sometimes they come in handy kind of thing on exceptional cases. This is a set of Peterson picks. These are almost never used. You can see I cut up one of the real thin ones, and I used that for the Kwikset Smart Key sidebar. The rest of these I very rarely use. I kind of got them because I was like, ooh, I think I want to have these as like, you know, Peterson really quality tools as backups. But I don't use them, if I'm being honest. These over here on the left are the Wicked Waves from Tool. For me, these are kind of like a collector's item. I just think they're kind of neat to have, but I don't really ever use them. These are the Ergo combs. I don't really use Ergo combs. I haven't had a lot of success with them, and I don't, you know, they're kind of like, don't seem super handy to me. Notch decoders, I have used these for a lot of things, but not actually decoding sesame locks. I use the thin metal, like feeler gauge, for random purposes, but I don't know that I've ever actually decoded a sesame lock with the decoders. But I do think that thin metal will come in handy for other, like probing and checking of things. The same thing with this knife tool. I don't think I've ever used it for its intended purpose, but I have used it. We've got some bypass tools I've never used for that effect. Same thing here with this guy. There's my own personal pick, I guess, for the Mendi lock. And you've got a plug spinner here, which is like one of those things that's like, I never use this. I do like how thin this one is, that it fits in the pack like this real conveniently. And if you're a locksmith, that might be more handy, but for me, I don't need it when you're practicing picking at home. So stuff you don't need. Okay. That's not tools. This is for locks. Prospects. Yes, these come in handy. I have opened a few locks with these. These are really cheap from China, and they tend to work as like little rakes. I'm a fan. For the price, I think they're worth it. A whole bunch of Lishi tools in here. Yay, Lishi tools. I really don't use these very much, but I think they will be useful for some projects I have in mind. Yeah. A CD from old stuff for showing people how to pick locks. These are handy for showing people. I do like these things. I do think they come in handy for showing people that aren't used to looking at locks. Another lock. That's a lock that I borrowed from someone. Tubular picks like this, super handy. Mine's actually broken. I need to fix it. This, I don't remember if it's the 7 or the 8 pin. I think it's the 7 pin one I broke. I need to fix, but these are super handy. I find that a lot of safes and stuff like that use those things. So that's a good way to get in them. As the, the backup for the electronic ones. Here's some tubular picks from China. The diameters on these don't ever match anything I see, so I would say these are not super helpful in my experience with what I've messed with. A pouch I've never used. Got some bobby pins. Got a little cool Velcro. Shmoocon, playing cards. The Covert Instruments bump hammer. I don't know that I've ever used it, to be honest. Maybe I have for something. Ooh, some more Jimmy Longs. I didn't even know I had those. Wow. Alright, tool pouch. You can see it's missing some stuff. Locks. Broken Lishi tool. Oh, this is a magic key. It's for magic tricks. It's a gimmick key. Here you can see my 3D printed stuff. This all came in handy. Backup pens. Yeah, this is the dimple pick set from Multipick. Haven't had a lot of success with it. This is, it's my understanding, it's top of the line. I broke one of these already, so that's a little embarrassing. I've got the replacement pick in the mail coming towards me. I do want to get better with these. I just need to take a little more time and like do some progressive pinning. Just don't have enough practice with it. Strap, this was cool. I got this from Deviant Olam at Shmoocon, so that's kind of neat. This is some sort of door tool that I've never used, but somebody gave it to me for picking a lock for them. That was cool. Yeah, get inside the door, press that emergency exit bar. Never used it, but kind of neat. Like one of those things that when you need that, that's going to be super handy. Yeah, another tool that I just don't have the practice and experience to use, but would love to. Dimples. Ooh, all this stuff never used. Yeah, I'm gonna skip it. You get the idea. It's all stuff for sort of getting around doors. At the bottom there, we got a bunch of, got some other turning tools that fell out, got lost. Plug followers. More stuff for plug spinners. Just don't use them, you know. Got some more shim material. This is for making your own padlock shims. Alright. More Euro driver bypass tools. These are kind of neat. These are for knocking out the hinges, the pins on hinges. I think I played around with it once to confirm it worked, and worked surprisingly well. So, yeah, more drivers. You can see these are all in the pack. But these, I just think these are awesome. I do like these a lot. What else we got in here? We got another file. we got our ridiculous magnet. I have used this for a few random projects. This is like a super high-powered magnet for randomness. I've used it for finding pens and shit, or not pens because they're usually brass, but I have used it for finding stuff that I've dropped too. Never used utility key. This Red Team's tool mold for copying keys. I used this a couple of times. I actually was worried that I might have really damaged it because I used it with, was it gallium? I was worried that it might damage the aluminum there. Tool stickers, another tool I haven't used. Little security set from Red Team Tools. If I got to be honest, I'd recommend that iFixit kit more than these. Yeah, that's my personal preference, though. To each their own. A tool for tapping the threads on challenge locks. A set of picks that I have not used. I do like to keep some random picks that I can let people that are learning to pick mess with too. I mean, they can use mine too, but like this one that's red actually is not mine. That's one that belongs to Tool that somehow got mixed in there. All right, that's the bag. Cool. Well, I need to organize that and put it all back. You think we're done? I'm going to show you something else. Pause. Welcome back. So, last tools that are super handy. Vise. This is probably one of the oldest tools I got. This was a present back in high school. Super handy to have a vise. Dremels. Definitely handy little tools. Very handy. Grinding wheel. This is one I had from back in high school. You can see that grinding wheel. I recently changed it for this. And this doesn't actually fit in there. I don't know if you can see, but I've got it held in a way that it should not be. I cut a piece of that copper pipe up and used it as a spacer. So that's not very safe. That's why you should also use goggles. Yeah. Oh, and this is a neat little tool right here. This is an armorer's hammer. It's really meant for working on AR-15s. But what's cool about it is it has a rubber, like soft rubber, plastic, brass, and steel tips that you can sort of switch out so you can hit different surfaces. I'm sure there is an equivalent that's not meant for guns that you can use, but very handy little thing. All right. Yeah. That's I think, all the big stuff. Way too many tools. Way too long. If you've watched all this, God bless you. All right, y'all. Take care. Congratulations, Otter Arms, on 1,000. Very big accomplishment there. Very nice. And great content. Keep up the good stuff. And, yeah, I really like your logo, by the way. I want one of your stickers. They're very cool looking. All right, y'all. Take care.